Well, good afternoon. I haven't done one of these videos for a little while, but I'm out for a prayer walk on a beautiful May afternoon here in the village of Round Lake, New York. And I decided to turn on the camera and say hello. And probably will do a number of these over the summer. And I think I want to talk about something that has come up a few times recently and is very important, that as Christians we be merciful people, and I mean that we be understanding people. And just a little look around here. That's the, I think, Round Lake Inn, maybe. And I see a church over there. This town or village actually has an interesting history, which I'm not totally familiar with, but I know there were a series of camp meetings in 1868 in this town that brought in large crowds, and a lot of famous preachers came and preached here. Also, I believe many years before that, George Whitefield preached here. And I think we're going to see some evidence of that on our walk. But anyways, back to our subject, talking about being an understanding person. One of the best qualities we can have as Christians is that we are understanding. And I don't mean in the sense of having an incredible intellect. Here's the sign, one of the signs. So you're talking about the camp meetings of the Methodist Episcopal Church of Troy. When I say that we be understanding people, I mean that we are merciful and patient. Too often, we form opinions about people without really knowing their story. And all we know is that there's something about them that isn't quite right in our eyes. But I've learned over the years that there's always a reason why people are the way they are. Another one of these historical markers. Apparently there was a museum of archaeology on this spot. Yeah, one of these days I'll have to do a deep dive on the history of Round Lake. I know it's on the Register of Historic Places, so one of these days I'll have to look into it a little more. Sometimes we will say about people, well, I don't know why they do that. I would never do that. I would never say that. I would never let that happen to me. And whenever we say I would never about someone else, the problem is we have no idea what we would do because we don't have their experiences. And here is a sign that says Whitefield Avenue, so there we go. That's evidence that this community has a Methodist, I guess, background, and I'm told that George Whitefield came here and ministered during the height of his ministry. He's a very, very famous preacher from the First Great Awakening. But we don't have their experiences. We don't have their We didn't have their parents and their upbringing, and we didn't live through the same situations they lived through. There's so many variables that it's impossible for us to say, I would never do that, or I would never say that. That's a pretty cool little relic from the past. Little thing there in front of their house, but sorry, I get distracted. You know, it can be very tempting to judge a person based on our experiences, but the problem is that makes us very critical. And of course, it makes us critical and impatient when actually people need to be treated with understanding many times and treated with mercy. And we kind of miss out on an opportunity to be agents of healing in people's lives when we're not merciful and understanding people. You know, I think of Jesus. He said in the Beatitudes, "Blessed are the merciful." Paul, in 1 Corinthians 13, we call it the love chapter. He said that, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. In other words, always assumes the best. It believes the best of people is what is implied there. Proverbs 10 says love covers all transgressions. 1 Peter 4 says love covers a multitude of sins. Romans 15 says we who are strong ought to bear with the weaknesses of those without strength. And then, of course, Jesus said in Luke 6, do not judge and you will not be judged. Do not condemn and you will not be condemned. Pardon and you will be pardoned. And I think he's asking us there to be understanding people. So let's be understanding people. I'm going to talk more about this in another video, but for now, we'll see you. Bye-bye.